All right, this is part 2 of sitting in Badha Konasana for tight hips. So last time we saw how we sit. We have to have the hips be at the same level as the knees or higher, right? So what I mean is if I'm sitting here, my knees are higher than my hips. I need to find enough height underneath my sit bones so that my knees will be lower or at the same level as my hips. Then we saw what happens when I am sitting on a height. If I'm sitting on the floor, this is not an issue, but if I'm sitting on a height, you can see how there's a torque to the knee, right? So that there's a bad situation you're causing for yourself, really damaging, can be very damaging to the knee. So what do I have to do here? If I am sitting on a height, I have to make sure that I find a way to elevate my heels. So here I'm using a slanted block, a skinny block, but you can use, a rolled up mat or anything like that. So we use the mat, the slanted block, and this is much healthier for the knees. Okay. We also saw a way to safely get into the pose, and that way is by closing the knee joint, right? So we close the knee joint, so here the knee is safe. And then I can bring the leg to the side, right? Versus if my foot is quite a bit in front of me and I try to bring this leg, this knee joint is open and it's also open for injury, right? So if I protect it, I close it as much as it'll go, right? And then I get into my pose. Okay, so we'll look at belts and placement of blocks so that I can work with weights to really get these to release. So first I'll show you how to put a simple way to put a block. There's many ways. Here, what I want to do is I want to grab a belt and put the belt underneath my hip bone. So right here on the crease like this, right? And they're right around my sacrum. I want to make sure that the buckle is not touching any part of my skin. So once I'm done tightening, and it's good not to have any twists in the belt. So work out any of the twists so that they're cutting your skin. Okay. So I have my belt nicely arranged, and I can use the belt because sometimes the legs just don't want to stay, they keep sliding forward, right? So the belt is nice. The belt also helps you stand up straight a little more. Okay, so if I have my blocks, I will support the knees, okay? Make sure that my knees are supported by the blocks so that the knees can't just be pulled down. So when you're working on this pose, the thought is you don't want to pull the knees down. Sometimes my daughter was in gymnastics and they used to pull their knees down. So that's not what you want to do. That's not going to do anything healthy for your body. You want to press the heels together and you want to pretend that you're pushing a wall away here. So you're making the knees longer. That causes a little bit of space here in the hips, and then the legs come down with that, but it takes time. So it's not pushing these down, it's pushing them out. If I'm going to use weights, you can start out with a small amount of weight, and you can place them rotating the thighs in. Okay, so inward rotation. You put weights on closer to the groin. Okay, so the heavier weight. So here you can sit here for a while. You can watch your favorite movie, or you can have just sort of sitting here and watching what happens to the breath in this pose. And any time that you use weights, they're very effective in helping this pose, you progress in the pose, but you have to support the knees. So never use weights without the support. So knees supported, weight. If you need a support for your back, you have the wall. With the belts, sometimes you might not need, so it will strengthen your back and start releasing the groin. So here you would put a timer, and you can start out on 1 minute and you can increase that. And you would think of breathing so that you're not holding your breath. Releasing the eyes, the ears, the throat. Lifting the chest, releasing the belly. And then slowly noticing where the tightness is, where the pain is. You know, it's that pain that it's not a damaging pain. If there is a damaging pain, your knees really, really hurting, or a sharp, hot pain, slowly come out. But if it's just, you know, the pain, maybe the sweet pain, or, you know, a tolerable, a stretching sensation, then you draw a boundary around that area. Tell the mind, you're giving me the information that there is pain there. Draw a boundary around that pain. So it's an imaginary Sharpie. And then breathe into that pain. And see if the boundary of the pain gets smaller. So if you have a very tight spot here, you can breathe into that spot. Imagine, tell the brain to draw for you where it's seeing that pain. And breathe into that pain. Softening the eyes, the ears, the throat, and see if something releases. All right. Once you've worked with, maybe these are 2-pound weights, you can try a lot more weight, right? So you can see how it feels for you, but make sure that the leg is supported, that the knees are below the hips, and that the heels are lifted if you are on a height. Right? And you can sit here too. Okay, I hope this helps. Text me with any questions. Okay. Okay, then getting out, I can help my knee and open the knee.